Right now, there's a signal your business is sending, and there's a very good chance that you're not reading it. It's not because you're not paying attention or not because you don't care, but because when you're inside something every day, when you've built it, when you know every corner of it, you develop a framework for what things mean. And that framework, as useful as it's been, can also become the thing that prevents you from seeing what's actually happening. I know because I've lived it. On June 18th, 2025, 1 year ago today, I had a heart attack. A 100% blockage of the LAD artery, the one they call the widowmaker. 2 days before that, my body was sending a clear signal, but I explained it away. I had 30 years of good health and a cast iron gut as my framework, and I used both to file the signal under not a problem. I was wrong, and I almost didn't get to be wrong about anything else. Now, I'm not telling you this story because it's dramatic. I'm telling you because I see business owners making the same kind of mistake right now with a signal that's just as real and just as easy to explain away. Welcome to Truth in a Digital World. I'm John Delaney. I'm a digital marketing strategist and an AI consultant, and I'm going to try to be your guide through one of the most significant shifts in the history of the internet. I've spent over 40 years in marketing, telecommunications, and technology, more than 26 of those years in digital marketing and web development, and the last 3 years specifically focusing on AI strategy. I've watched this industry evolve from the earliest days of the web to where we are right now, and I can tell you with confidence, where we are right now is unlike anything I've seen in 4 decades. This show exists for one reason: to help you, business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, or just end users of artificial intelligence, to navigate what's happening with clarity instead of confusion, avoiding the hype without the fear, without the kind of grounded, practical perspective that comes from actually being in this work every day. My story is part of this show because it's relevant to yours. But this isn't about me. It's about what I learned and how it applies to the business you're building right now. Let me show you what I mean. You've built something. Now, maybe it's a business you've been running for 5 years, maybe 15. Maybe you started it from nothing and you know every part of it. You know the customers, the process, the way things work. You have a framework for how your business operates in this world. And that framework has served you. But here's what I've learned. And a very personal reckoning a year ago brought me to this. The closer you are to something, the harder it is to read the signals that don't fit the story you already believe. 2 days before my heart attack, my body was sending a very clear signal. I had stomach discomfort I chalked up to indigestion, and I've always joked about having a cast iron gut. So I used that history, that personal narrative, to interpret what I was feeling, and I filed it away. Now, my wife didn't have my history. She didn't have my reasons to explain it away. She saw what I couldn't, not because she knew more, because she wasn't carrying the same framework. Now, she made the call, and she made the right call exactly at the right moment. I was in the hospital within an hour. The artery was 100% blocked, and that's the kind of blockage that in most cases doesn't give you a second chance. I got a second chance. And what I want to offer you today, and what this whole episode is really about, is the outside perspective my wife gave me that morning. The view isn't filtered through history, through your assumptions, your investment in how things have always worked, because right now there is something happening in search and AI that most business owners are explaining away. using the same kind of framework that I used. My website has always worked for me. I rank well on Google. My customers find me. Maybe. For now. But the system is changing, and the signal is there if you're willing to read it. Let me tell you what AI taught me about clarity. During my recovery, I did something I didn't expect. I leaned into AI, not to move faster, but to think more clearly. I used it to plan meals, to manage medications, to track my progress, and to reduce the number of decisions I had to make from scratch every day. Because when you're healing, decision fatigue is real. I needed to protect my mental energy for the things that actually mattered. What surprised me wasn't how much it helped, it was where it helped and where it didn't. AI was genuinely useful for reducing friction, for organizing information, for handling the low-stakes, repetitive choices that will drain you over time. But it couldn't tell me what mattered. It couldn't weigh the things only I could weigh. It couldn't give me direction, only options. And here's what I want you to take from that. AI is a tool, a genuinely powerful one, but it's not a compass. And right now, a lot of business owners are trying to use it as one, adopting tools without a strategy, chasing automation without a framework, moving fast without a clear sense of where they're actually going. That's not a technology problem, that's a clarity problem. And in clarity, in your health, in your leadership, in your business, it starts being willing to see what's actually there, not just what you expect to be there. Let me tell you about the signal most business owners are missing right now. At Google I/O 2026, about 3 weeks ago, Google announced the most significant overhaul of its search experience in 25 years. 25 years. The last time Google made a change this foundational, most of us were just figuring out what broadband was. Here's the shift. Google is moving away from being a search engine, a system that returns a list of links that you click through, and it's becoming an answer engine. It's a system that reads the web, it synthesizes information, and it delivers a direct response to a conversational question. Probably you've already seen early versions of it. The AI overviews that appear above the search results, the summaries, the direct answers. What Google announced at I/O 2026 is the full acceleration of that model at a scale the industry has never seen before. And here's what that means for your business specifically. When someone nearby types a question into Google or speaks it into their phone, and Google AI gives them a direct answer, they may never visit a website at all. They'll get an answer, synthesized, delivered, done. Which raises a question that you need to sit with. When that happens, is your business part of the answer? Or is it invisible? Let's talk about why your business might be invisible right now. Here's what I see when I audit local business websites, and I've done a ton of them across Southwest Florida. Beautiful photos, solid design, pages that look professional, and almost nothing that AI can actually use. There's no structured answers to the questions customers are asking. There's no FAQ content. There's no schema markup, which is the technical signals that AI systems recognize to find out who you are, where you are, what you do, and why you should be trusted. In many cases, critical information buried in images, PDFs, or navigation menus is simply stuff that AI can't read. These businesses haven't done anything wrong. They built their websites for human visitors, for someone who would click around, browse, maybe call. That made complete sense 5 years ago. But AI doesn't browse. It reads, it interprets structure. It looks for signals. It looks for clear answers, consistent information, named entities it can verify across multiple sources. If your website is built to impress a human visitor but not to inform a machine, you're invisible to the system that is rapidly becoming the primary front door to the internet. I audited a restaurant not long ago, and every menu on the site was either a photo of a printed page or a downloadable PDF. Perfectly reasonable from the owner's perspective, easy to update, easy to manage. But when someone nearby opened ChatGPT on a Friday night and asked where to eat, this restaurant wasn't in the answer. Not because the food wasn't good, because the information wasn't structured. Now, from behind the counter, the website made complete sense. But from the outside, from a phone screen, from an AI system, from a potential customer who doesn't already know you exist, it was invisible. That is the gap, and most businesses don't know it's there. This is your outside perspective moment. Here's why I keep connecting these two things, my health story and the Google shift. Both are stories about signals that were present long before they became crises. My body was telling me something 2 days before the heart attack. The signal was real. I just had the wrong framework for reading it. The AI search didn't happen overnight either. The signals have been there for years. AI overviews creeping up the results page, organic click traffic slowly compressing, declining, conversational search queries replacing keyword searches. Anyone paying close attention could see the direction. But most businesses, like I did with my own symptoms, had been using an old framework to explain the signal away. We've always ranked well. That was my cast iron gut. Our website gets traffic. That was my probably just indigestion. We haven't lost customers yet. That was me going back to sleep on the morning of June 17th. I'm not saying this to alarm you. I'm saying it because I know what it looks like to be on the wrong side of a signal you missed. And I know what it looks like when someone finally sees it clearly and realizes they still have time to act. You have time to act. But the businesses that move now, that take the outside perspective seriously, that restructure their content for AI readability, that build their digital presence for the world that already exists, those businesses will have an advantage that compounds. The ones that wait until the change is undeniable will spend twice as much to catch up. That's not speculation. That's a pattern I've watched repeated across the last 26 years in digital marketing. So you have a step. Here's what I want you to do before this episode is over. Open up your website, even if you have to pause this. Open it on your phone and ask yourself one honest question. If someone who knew nothing about my business landed on this page and had 10 seconds, would they know exactly what I do, who I serve, and why they should trust me? Actually, you have less than 10 seconds for your visitor to figure out what you do, how it'll make their life better, and how to buy your products or services. Don't click around. Don't navigate the menu. Just look at the words on the page, the actual text. If the answer is no, or if you hesitate, that's a signal, and that's where you start. Now, the good news is you don't need to rebuild your website today. You don't need to understand schema markup or structured data or conversational query optimization. I can't even get that word out right. Not yet. You need to start with one question. Am I clear? Because clarity, what you do, who you help, and why you're the right choice is the foundation that AI builds on when it decides whether to include you in an answer. If you're vague, you're invisible. If you're specific, you become a source. And becoming a trusted source is exactly what this new era of search rewards. You've built something worth finding. The question this new era of search is asking, the question Google's AI is asking every time someone types a question nearby, is whether it can find you, whether your business communicates clearly enough, specifically enough, structurally enough to be part of the answer. I got a second chance on June 18th, 2025. A chance to see what I'd been missing, a chance to rebuild with more clarity and more intention than I had before. That's what I'm offering you today. Not alarm, a second look. Take the outside perspective, read the signal, ask the question your website may not be answering yet. There's not always more time, but right now, you have it. In our next episode, I want to tell you about the day my cardiologist said my recovery was in the top 1% and why that scared me more than the heart attack did. I'm John Delaney. This is Truth in the Digital World. I'm glad you're here.